Today, this is going to be more of a philosophical video. I know that people love when I talk philosophy and get into the spiritual concepts. Nietzsche is a common theme of this channel. I find his philosophy of the higher man, the will to power, it really blends well with the road life. I bet you man are thinking, oh, he's chatting about that 19th century philosopher again. How does any of this apply to anything? What an autistic freak. He's just waffling. Juice all the cat, he bun this guy, he's a dickhead. To help you understand the points I'm making about the roads, first I'm going to chat about materialism, spirituality, ambition, so you can get a better understanding of how this ties into everything. Then later on, I'm going to be talking about roadmen, trapping, etc. I find there's a camp of people who are materialistic. They want Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Louis V. There's another camp who are extremely spiritual. They only care about God and think you should pray and only live off the bare minimum necessities. I believe, why not have both? Why not let both complement each other very well? Good spirituality can help push you forward in your worldly life, and a good worldly life can help accomplish more in the spiritual. I find the suppression of your will towards power is retarded and gay, to be honest. Do you really think I'm gonna shave my head and just sit around all day thinking about nothing? Even the act of meditating to me is so retarded. Like, yeah, it's cool to do here and there, but I don't wanna ever have that reality. There's something extremely sinister about just having an empty head with no thoughts. I find that's how you end up becoming a Batman from having to meditate all day. You end up just being a dickhead. You're open to any of the propaganda that comes your way. Anyone could just brainwash you or gaslight you into becoming a waste man. Just because you decided, oh, I'm going to be a drone just because some Indian guy told me to. Don't let anyone put you down for being ambitious, because usually them people are less moral than you anyway. Usually what you're doing can help a lot of people out. Let's say you're selling tires or something, or you're fixing people's cars for money, or you're detailing their cars. That's making their life better, and it's an exchange of value. You feel the hunger for power, that restless energy inside. That's your daemon, your inner fire. It's the drive that all guys have deep down. Society tries to put it out by feeding you bad nutrition, pornography, or telling you to emasculate yourself and suppress that urge for greatness. Street life promises power, status, fear, but it's counterfeit power. It's an illusion of power, because really, sure, you're moving work, but you're moving the government's work. You're basically an agent for the Matrix at that point. If you're a trapper, if you go pen for shotting, let's say they give you a 5-year bird for importing Class A's, then you're even more of a slave. The streets feed your destructive instincts, but keep you caged like an animal, reacting, never creating. You're successful in a realm of where you're being controlled. Let's say you're a businessman, let's say you're a realtor, someone who has a profession and a skill. This person isn't in that box of control and aren't part of the psyop that the streets are, so they'll get a lot more freedom. Nietzsche would write about the higher man, someone who has great ambition and always talks of high goals. The higher man overflows. The creating one is the hardest to understand, for he is the one who creates beyond himself, and he is the overflowing cup that pours out his spirit into the world. Think of a guy who's got beef, sells food. He's someone that has such insane ambition to probably cop the mansion, the Urus, being covered in Louis Vuitton. Hence why he's trying to do that by any means necessary. He overflows and then he destroys himself. Maybe he gets K'd off, maybe he gets addicted to coke and dies, but either way, there's a higher man that will always aim to come up no matter where his start was in life, no matter what the circumstance. He will find a way to strive to become someone who's got this tremendous will that Nietzsche would talk about, the will towards power and greatness. Them single mums who died of overdose, yeah, this video is gonna get dark and controversial. Them fiends were a sacrifice towards his ambition, the trapper. There wouldn't be no Tesla without them apartheid emerald miners of the Musk family who were sacrificed so that Elon could be the richest man in the world and create with his burning will. Do I believe the higher man is justified? I don't, but it's a law of the universe that to get something you have to give something else. I know this can open up the door to become elitist and think of people as expendable resources and all that. No, this is to be moral, and I believe in morality, but I'm just painting it out that to create the pyramids, you had to have thousands of people that were basically enslaved for their whole life. Think of Pablo Escobar, think of Ghost from Power. They have huge egos, and their daemon, this energy that's channeled, it leads to self-destruction. That's why a lot of guys die early and blaze out through a flame, such as Tupac, Kurt Cobain, Vincent van Gogh, Hitler. This get rich or die trying energy. A lot of guys, they create a book, they create one of the best works of all time, and then they'll shoot themselves in the head. Because end of the day, they make that book and it's full of such destructive energy, and they channel all the will that they have for that, and then they have nothing to live for. The higher man usually has vice. They're addicted. Look at Kanye West, look at Conor McGregor. They go through scandals. There's SEX addiction to class A's, but they're usually sabotaged by something. I believe that addictive energy is also of the same vein as greatness. J.K. Rowling said her creative process revolves around having little sleep and a caffeine abuse addiction. Usually it's a destructive energy that births true creation and ambition. I imagine the roads being sperm swimming towards an egg. I just imagine it like being like a race, and they're all wiggling and they're shaking and they're all just racing each other towards that egg. Who's gonna make it? That's what the roads are like. There's 100 trappers in every city and they're all just battling towards who can make it out, and usually their life is at stake as well. Look at Jordan Peterson, for example. I'm not calling him a higher man, but he's addicted to benzos and he works 14 hours a day. So how does this relate to the roads? Think about the lyrics. In the tea for weeks, I haven't showered. All these guys, they sacrifice everything for their ambition. These guys serve nitties like their life depends on it, because it does. I always mention Snow from Harlem Spartans. My man looks like if Graft was a person. Think of the best works in the UK. The best albums out there were born out of this relentless hunger for more. Potter Paper, Training Day, J-Hus 15th Day, Fredo's old music as well, rapping like the rent's due. Road rap, hustle trap music has a Dionysian energy to it. Dionysus was the god of chaos. When you listen to music by Slim, for example, he makes the trap seem inspirational. He raps about the trap like it's a motivational speech. By the way, I was on this Lux Maxing subreddit and this guy looks exactly like Slim. I don't know why. It looks like if Slim fell off and had low self-esteem. Slim's life has changed from him whipping in a Pyrex. Road life seduces your lower instincts, your chaos, your anger, but it changes your potential. Look at the Brum rapper Lems, for instance. Sure, he had ambition and held himself highly, but now he's sat in prison serving a whole life sentence. The roads sell a lie to young ambitious men who would probably, like, they could have just came up doing something legit anyway. If you want to get that phone line ringing off, if you want to get the cats twerking, the phone line twerking, then you can do anything. Beef is completely meaningless. Let's be honest here. In conclusion, being a roadman is a vice. It wastes your will to power. Be dangerous, but be disciplined. I find the general advice by Jordan Peterson to become a monster, then learn how to tame that monster, is the best way to say it. Do your Jungian shadow work, all that. I find making these schizo videos every now and then to be interesting, and it's tying the roads into the trap and self-improvement mindset. It's very interesting and I want to do it more. But anyways, guys, Juice of the Catty on the verge of hitting 30k subscribers. I love you all. Please like and subscribe. I'm out. Bang.